Well, salutations everybody, it's good to be back. And we'll see how things end up going, how this stream ends up being. I've been off for a bit, healing, recuperating, and enjoying the time to myself. Getting the crack to be 90 and enjoying everything that comes with all of that. But it's time for me to come back. It's time for the crack to enter back into the world of streaming and enjoy time with all of you wonderful individuals again, should anyone actually turn up upon my return. But with all that being said, what is it we're back at today? Well, the wonderful Football Manager 24. We need to enjoy these moments of Football Manager 24 because there is a significant chance that they won't be long for the world. As we all know, come November, Football Manager 2026 will be come into place, and depending on how that ends up going, that will probably be one of the games that ends up being showcased the most. Now, what are we back with? We're back with the final season with Real Madrid. Dejected or not, we will finish this season. Last season, we completed absolutely everything but the Spanish Cup. We won the Champions League. We won the Spanish First Division. We won the Spanish Super Cup. All of this is true. But we failed at the final hurdle. We failed at attempting to get greatness in our names. We failed to win everything. And leaving Real Madrid the same way as we left the wonderful Liverpool when we were there, with the perfect season, with everything beaten, with everything under our wing. And we're going to do it now. We're going to do it this time. We're going to combat it all and win. We have our tactic ready. We have our team ready to go. We have a couple of preseason games to see how things are going. We have youth ready to play with us. We have signed some greatness. We have some greatness coming true that have seen before the final season for a couple of people, but we will see what ends up happening. Will we do any more signings depending on how this preseason goes? Potentially. Will we end up just enjoying the crack and seeing how it all goes? Even more so. But we will go through and see how the crack stands. Linus, my friend, it has been some time. What's a crack-a-lackin' with you? Is it all going good? Is it all going sweet? Is it all going spicy? How has your time been going since the last time I was live with you, my friend? Has there been any news with you? Is it all going good? You've joined as we go into the first pre-season game with Real Madrid and see how it all ends up coming together. Where we try things out, we experiment a bit, and we see whether or not our actions will actually end up working. It wasn't that my hand was broken, so I'll tell you exactly what ended up happening. I had a nerve compressed in this particular section of my arm there. I compressed it about a year ago in a deadlift that I did. And what basically ended up meaning was for that period of time, I had numbness going from the tip of this finger down to about there in my arm, which was sound. I didn't mind that too much. But it didn't impact my strength, and it didn't impact my grip stability or anything of that effect. So because of that, I didn't have much worry about it. It's suddenly there 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I couldn't even, and you can even see it now when I do this, I couldn't even hold a piece of paper like that. It, like, you'd easily be able to rip it off of me. It's still not 100% back, but it's closer. So we decompressed it, and now we're on the mend. And it has been the reason why I haven't been streaming the last wee bit. But with all that being said, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to enjoy the crack with you fine individuals. And it's a pleasure to end up having the good fun. So the thing about it is it's getting better, which is the brilliant thing about it. But we won't know 100% whether or not it has hit the better stage for about a year. Which is the one annoying aspect of it that we won't know for a year whether or not it's 100% fixed, because unfortunately nerves recover at a demonstrably slow rate. But with that being said, we won't worry about it, and we'll continue on, and we'll see how the crack ends up going. But until all then, I have the wonderful joy of being able to relax and enjoy the crack with all of you. So, how has life been with you, my friend, since the last time we have discussed? Have you gotten up to anything exciting or spicy or anything of that description, if you don't mind me asking? And feel free to turn around and say, "Crack, shut the F up. I don't want to give any information about myself." Because that is a perfectly adequate response. You might notice that I am attempting, now that I'm back, to be a new, more mature crack, to be a new, more dedicated person to the streaming and content creation space, and stop the diarrhea of the mouth and constipation of the brain that leads to, how to say this flowery, because I used to know the word, profanity, that's it. But that's a pleasure to hear, Linus. It's an absolute pleasure to hear that it's all going good for you. Honestly, I love hearing that people are doing well in life at the moment. It brings a gentleness to my soul. Of course, in the period of time since I've been gone as a Manchester United fan, I have had both cheer and horror watching the useless sacks of Yankee Doodle shite completely screw around with everything they've been doing. But I mean, you have to get used to that when you're anything to do with United, I suppose. Put you there. But with that being said, yeah, we can just relax, chill. I still have the arm here on a bit of a rest for the time being, you know, joys. But relax, joy, and see how things are going. We're just designing out the team now for this first preseason game. See how everyone ends up playing with each other. Go that way. Yes. Now, the thing that I find really funny about that game is that obviously there will always be the caveat that the red card ended up happening. But in the 5 minutes before that, United were playing phenomenally well. Well, thank you, Enter. I am stupid sexy crack. It's a pleasure to be here. How's life treating you, my friend? Have you ATBs tonight or anything like that? Or what are you getting up to yourself? Will you be streaming? Might as well send the love and do more, streamer coordination bits and give you an old shout out. How unfortunate. We end up going for a clip of Enter, and we end up getting a voice note of Kurt. Honestly, it's been a good old day. We ended up going and getting our doctor's appointment, so I now have the sling off me, so that's all good and grand, and, you know, just getting better down there. Good 6 weeks before I can end up going back to the gym, which has me a bit angst up, but I'm in a good enough condition, and I'm now in a situation where I can have more ability with my hand to go back streaming, because as you notice with me, I kind of do an awful lot of this crap, so I need to be a bit more careful. But I've been doing actually fairly good. What about yourself? Have you had any clients? Has it just been a day of reflection for yourself? How has the work on your end been going, my friend? So we'll start with this squad here. Although we will make a change. We won't go with Jason yet. We will start with... God, we have a plethora of goalkeepers. So, actually, there is one thing I need to showcase first. In between the last time that we were on, we did make 2 or 3 changes. So, in terms of the squad, and they account for last season, unfortunately, we have managed to sell a couple of players, but one in particular that we got quite a substantial amount of money for was Aaron Jacobi, our old Barcelona friend. Liverpool came in and ended up giving us the guts of 90 million quid for him. We kind of really didn't have a choice but to sell him. It was too big of an offer and he was getting a bit pissy about it. So we did lose our backup goalkeeper, the best backup goalkeeper in the world. So we have a couple of youths going in to replace him. So that could be an interesting thing to see how things are going. But we should hopefully be able to go through this and have ourselves set up grand. We have a fairly strong team in every aspect now. They're very used of our structure and the way that we end up playing. So hopefully we can continue on that way and see how it is. So let's get into this first preseason game versus an Asian team of some description. I believe we're in Korea, so I haven't a clue who Suwon are. But get ready to watch a complete and utter annihilation. It's funny, too, with this international break, because this international break that we have now in the world of football, we won't have next year. They've confirmed that next year this international break is being strung up. It's not occurring. So it'll be completely different as to what ends up happening there. And it is unfortunate that us as United end up having Liverpool next. But with that being said, wouldn't it be something for Liverpool to go 4 on the bounce and lose to us when they end up coming back as well? And it's not without the realms of possibility that that might end up happening. And listening to a couple bits of... because I didn't actually get to watch any of the games last week that were occurring. I ended up watching some of the highlights afterwards and listened to some of the punditry. It was interesting hearing Wayne Rooney talk, especially when it came down to the Liverpool game, because Rooney had the gumption that most pundits wouldn't end up having and called out Salah for walking around and not doing enough, which gives him more credence, gives him more credibility in my eyes. Because I think that I mentioned that last season, that I thought the Liverpool squad that won the league because of Salah. He played so good that he hid any potential cracks. And I thought even with the 400 million that this could be the year where not that they will fall down, but it could be that expenditure and the whole lot could be a reason why they don't win the league, if you believe me as much. I think one of the big things with Liverpool that people haven't stated enough, and there hasn't been enough about with them, is the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold very, very obviously held quite a prominent position in Liverpool's leadership hierarchy within that club. And the fact that the rest of them seem to be leading their way out. Like, Robinson would have been a leader in there, and you can see it every time he comes onto the pitch. He definitely ends up giving a bit more stability to the team. But I think that's one of Liverpool's big problems at the moment. Ironically, in a team that's full to the brim of potential leaders, I don't think they have any leaders, which is very, very interesting to me. Senior Benny, my friend, what's a crack-a-lacking with you? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going saucy? What are you getting up to yourself today? Are you still in work? Are you finished? Are you just perusing the interwebs to enjoy the crack and enjoy Sir Crack? What's a crack-a-lacking with you, my friend? I'm just ranting and raving here. I can absolve the pain of watching West Ham play this weekend by watching West Ham women play this weekend. I don't know much about the West Ham women. I know, and I don't watch them, unfortunately, but I know the United women are in a significantly better position than the men are. They actually are a competent club in Europe and the whole lot. But how are the West Ham women's team? Are they any good? We are as bad as men. That's unfortunate. I mean, the one good thing with West Ham men is, even if he doesn't last long, and I don't actually think he's going to last long, Nuno Espirito Santo will kick them into gear a bit, which is the good thing about it. So we'll see what ends up happening there. He is a bit of a magician of getting something out of nothing. Not as much as the man you probably should have went for, Sean Dyche. But he's a bit of a miracle worker like that. So at least your men's team have that to look forward to. But it's unfortunate to hear that the women's team is doing that bad at the moment. So you're almost guaranteed to be a demoted side, is what you're saying, Benny, with the current record you have. I'm almost positive that it was this transfer window where the record was broken for a woman's sale. I think someone got sold for 1.6 million or something like that. I know Alexa Rousseau for 500,000 was the record there 2 years ago. It's not that I don't want to watch women's football. It's that I very rarely watch football anyways. And I just haven't the time, as unfortunate as it is. And punditry in general has just gotten so much worse in the last year, which is why I liked what Wayne Rooney was doing. I mean, only 12th is regulation, and West Ham have been 10th for the last 4 seasons. The last time West Ham women had over 30 points, Matt Beard was the manager, and Jack Sullivan was the sporting director. That sounds like it was bloody almost 10 years ago. I don't know much about the history, but I've heard of them before, but I haven't heard of them in a long, long time. Do I have this set to the full match? What the hell is going on here? I do have it set to full match. Tit. I was wondering what the hell was going on. This was an abnormally long half for pre-season friendly. Penalty! Who's going to take it? Guller. Yeah. But yeah. Yes. Yeah. You see, it's interesting talking about areas that need investment in football, because obviously West Ham would want to put an investment within the women in order to ensure that they're good. But there's other areas as well, like for us at the moment with United, we're going through the incredible cluster that is our academy at the moment. So even though, and I'd argue this with anyone, United currently have some of the best academy players in the world, and I would argue that with anyone. Now, whether or not they'll develop into anything is an entirely different kettle of fish. But we have some of the best academy players in the world. In order to improve the academy, United have gone about it in the most obtuse way the arseholes could do it. So, last year, they built, to be fair to Owl Sir Jimmy Boy, they built a training facility specifically for the women. And built that into the way, gave the women their own particular location, their own area. Fantastic to end up having. This year, they're doing upgrades to the academy in order to make it better for the specifically under 18s and under 21s, as you would expect. The king, baby, told you I'm the emperor. I'm the brilliance. I'm nothing more than stupid sexy crack. How are you doing, my friend? Long time no hear. Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? How's life with you? You must be happy as a Liverpool fan. Well, 3 losses in the bounce doesn't make you happy, but, you know, in general with the way you're performing. Back to my point. So they built that particular facility. And there's nothing wrong with that, that's all grand. But because they're doing upgrades to the academy facilities for the under 21s and under 18s, the under 21s and under 18s have been moved into that women's facility. The women have therefore been moved back into the men's facility. The men's main training ground obviously gets the most amount of area, but it means that the under 18s and the under 21s had been moved into the under 15s area. And due to the lack of staff and the lack of organization, the under 8 to the under 15s haven't been looked after properly. And there was a game versus Everton that happened there a week and a half ago where the United Academy literally had to ask Everton for both shirts and socks because they weren't put from point A to point B due to all of the transitions. So that's the unfortunate thing about, you know, funding and cooperation and, you know, all of that crap. All to say, competence is needed in football, both in the academy level and the women's level, which obviously you don't want to talk about deep moments, but in Ireland's budget, we actually put money towards the academy level. Anyway, I'll be back in 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Let's just look up what Benny was saying there. A reminder, they play 22 games in the WSL. Here's the last few years going back. Only 11 teams, 20 games. 9th, 11th, 8th, 6th, 9th. Huh. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that the WSL had that little games. That's fascinating to me, actually. WSL. That's hilarious. I search up WSL and it brings up the Microsoft. Fair enough. WSL football. I love how they make it so, and this is, to be fair, this isn't just on women's football, this is just in general. They make it so bloody hard to find the league table. It's bonkersly hard to find the league table. I do love how the London City Lions are one of the teams in the Premier League as well. Yeah, 12 teams there. It's still sponsored by Barclays, that makes sense. Yeah, show me the fucking table, Christ. Sorry. So Chelsea on top. Yeah, I knew that. Chelsea have been doing phenomenally well. United there. West Ham 5 for 5, 14 goal average. 16 goals scored against them, 2 in there. Yeah, Liverpool are down below as well. That's bonkers. Wow. I needed at the men's level too. Look at Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, Sheffield. I don't know what's happening with Sheffield Wednesday. There's a couple of fans of Sheffield Wednesday in and around Enter's community, and the poor buggers just are having no love this season. They themselves and Sheffield United are both just screwed. But yeah, we need to make some changes now. Yeah, it is slightly unfortunate. It is the one good thing about us. We have always had a good women's team, but we've also consistently shot ourselves in the foot with our women team because United have for years let their best players walk out. Like the fact that Alexa Rousseau walked out of United for free to go to Arsenal is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. But I will say, and what's really, really funny about it is Chelsea. Because and again, I don't follow the women's football enough to comment 100% whether or not this is right, so correct me if I'm wrong. I think, and have been told before, Chelsea's women's team just is the best women's team. It just has been the best women's team for bonkers, for yonks. It just has been the best women's team. And it does appear that that's still going to be, that is still the case, which is very interesting to see. Especially considering they sold the team to themselves in order to keep it afloat without spending massive amounts of money on it. I agree with you, Benny, that women's football, it does need to be expanded, and it probably will be as time goes on. The big problem is they need to ensure that it is expanded once it makes a profit. Because I think the worst thing anyone can do, and although it probably should be done, I still think it's the worst thing anyone can do, is artificially expand the league. Like, there's that big situation with women's basketball at the moment in America, and maybe you know more about it than I do, where they're fighting for quote-unquote equal rights. They want equal pay to the men. However, I believe that the women's basketball league is something like $40 million in the red every single year, and is literally being kept afloat by the men. And that doesn't do anything good for anyone. It's the same reason why the championship needs to be bonkersly careful as well, that it doesn't end up losing money, because if the championship starts losing money, League 1 and League 2 start losing money. So there's all that type of stuff. No, I know, but unfortunately, when it comes down to it, none of it is fair. I think the actual sport where it appears to be the fairest is tennis, and even at that, it's still off. Darts as well, maybe, but darts is just weird. Maybe. I don't know enough about basketball to be able to comment on it. I would argue that cultural problem does exist in football, soccer as well. However, for your version of football as well, the women's, depending on which women's league you want to talk to, your American football women's version is one of the most, what word can I use that isn't complete arseholish? It's one of the most titillating experiences you can end up having. I can't remember the name of that league. I think you know the one I'm on about, Benny, but yes. Other than the likes of Joey Barton, it has kind of quieted itself down. I legitimately think the retirement of your patron saint of women's football, whatever the hell her name is, rainbow-haired McGillicuddy, has helped a significant amount with women's football, because you can't have Karen. The sad thing about growth is the squeaky wheel gets the oil, but if the wheel is too squeaky, you just throw away the wheel. So you have to be careful with how squeaky you are about it. So there's levels to this, to fighting for stuff and fighting for what you want. You don't want to be too much of a whinging pain in the arse, but you also want to whinge just enough, you know? If you don't ever make any noise, you're not going to get what you want. It's the same reason why, on average, in just the general workforce, there are a load of people. I think the stat is that in any workforce, about 10% of it are undervalued because they don't ask for a raise or don't complain. But in general, it's nice that everything is growing and that everything is working well. Yes, it's growing, which is fantastic to see. Now it just needs to make money, which is the other problem. And I can understand why the people within the leagues want the growth of it and the financial packages of it to improve much faster than what is in the men's side, because it is arguable that the impact to their body is worse than the impact that's being done to the men, and they're not being paid a subsequent amount to the effort they're being put in. But the sad truth is, effort does not equate money. And the other sad truth about it is, I think even football needs to do it as well. It's not as easy to do in football as it is in other sports, but the prime example I make for it is Ronda Rousey versus Cyborg in the UFC is still to this day one of the most lucratively financial successes in UFC history, because Ronda Rousey was a brazen good guy. Cyborg looked like the unkillable death. Two of them had a personality that brought up the world and made people really interested in it. I do think footballers need to do a bit more about putting a bit of edge to them. Like, Haaland never needs to speak a goddamn word for you to know he's the most confident, cocky bastard in the world. And then when you do see him on social media, he completely deflates that image of him. But that's just the way he holds himself and the character he brings across himself while on the pitch. Everyone knew Patrick Vieira was a leader. Everyone knew Roy Keane was an asshole. Everyone knew Gary Neville was a sheep. You know? I think you don't need to do interviews and you don't need to do, the League of Their Own or shit like that. But I do think footballers need to, especially in the women's side of themselves, promote themselves a bit more to get people actually enthralled. Do that type of shit. Go on to Graham Norton Show or those type of things just to promote yourself. You are your currency in the world of entertainment, even in sports entertainment, which is what this ultimately is. I know people don't like that phrase because it's a wrestling phrase, but I think you know what I mean. So we'll see what ends up happening. At the end of the day, it's just a pleasure that there is growth within it. And hopefully now the kind of swing towards more right-orientated politics worldwide doesn't affect women's sport or sport in general. That was one of the things I was mentioning there. Ireland's budget came out at a horribly unpopular budget, but at the very least 3.5 million quid is being put towards the FAI in order to improve upon academy level equipment and facilities and all that. A bottle of piss in the grand scheme of things of what is needed, but still. I mean, yes. I would now, to be fair, you're right, because they're an actual current performing athlete in the realm of football. However, I would argue in all of football, now to be fair, has a far bigger platform to do it, but I would argue the actual best person to do that is Alex Scott. There isn't anyone who doesn't know who Alex Scott is if you're into football, but it's a pundit, so it's a different kettle of fish. But you are probably right. And to be fair, it helps that she's a good goalkeeper. Which is, without being too much of an asshole, Todges, is a hard thing in women's football. It's a hard thing in men's football as well. But the defenders are better in men's football. Yeah. Duck, it is a pleasure to have you back in, my friend. What's a crack-a-lacking with you? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going spicy? How's the life treating you? It's a pleasure to have you in, my friend. Well, you see, I timed it perfectly just to put the fire under your belly to be here the next time that I'm on. I kind of agree with you, and the main reason for that is on average, women are about 5 inches smaller than men. I think this is the UK thing. I think in the UK the average height of a woman is 5'5", whereas the average height of a man is 5'10". But at the same point in time, there isn't a complete need for it. That's the type of change I wouldn't object to, mind you. But Benny is right as well. There doesn't necessarily need to be a change to it. But that's the type of change where I don't actually mind it. Like in GAA here in Ireland, one of the rules in GAA is when you're getting the ball, you need to have your hands on the ball and then kick the ball up with your foot. Okay? Like that. I can't see if you can actually see my foot. Yeah. Kick the ball up with your foot like that. For the women, you don't need to do that. You just pick up the ball. I'm not actually sure why that rule's put in place, but it does make the women's game flow faster. and it allows them to bounce the living shite out of each other, which is actually incredibly entertaining. I'm of the opinion that women's ga is actually more entertaining than men's ga. But then again, I also don't like the ga. So, so you know, there's that. In what way, Duck? So we were talking. So Todd just said that he thinks the goal post should be smaller, and I was talking about height in terms of the differential between men and women in the UK. It might be different in the US. So when you're on the opposite train of thought, to which perspective do you mean the opposite train of thought? You mean the Bristol player up the mother trucking case? Oh, do you think I meant gas and not GA? Yeah, no, GA, the GAA, the Gaelic Athletic Association. So Gaelic. Just we all call it GA. Fair enough. I'm going to be nice to you, but you were shite. One of the many failures that I ended up signing. More women will start playing football, given the game is growing, and they've shown they can sell out stadiums for bigger events. Let these generations that grow up playing the game and becoming generational talents like we've never seen before, and the game will elevate itself. I agree. I 100% agree. But that's kind of where I'm making the point that they need to be better at selling themselves. Which, when you're talking about women, can awfully be taken out of context. But that's kind of where it comes down to. You need to be better at selling yourselves. It helped back in the day that you could have raging assholes on the pitch, like the Roy Keanes of the worlds, like the Eric Cantonas of the worlds, like the Patrick Vieiras of the worlds, like the Andy Coles of the worlds, where they could just be living assholes, and that helped build the game because that generationally hit with the audiences of the time, and you didn't need to socialize everything. I think now, because of how soft and tame the game is, you need to do the work in order to put yourself out there. But I think it'll work anyway. Because you're right, the game is improving. The big things is production, which, to be fair, in England anyway, I can't comment on America. You'll have to tell me about the American game. In England anyway, they have done an astounding job of ensuring that the cameras are up to the quality that the Premier League is on, because they want them to have the same level of quality. So, you know, it helps that there isn't a decrease in that. Because it would hurt quite an insane amount if the quality was diminished even slightly. The one game I did watch, I didn't like the graphics, but that's a personal touch. That's to each their own. I didn't like the graphics being used in the game that I ended up seeing, so I would like a relook at that myself. But at the end of the day, that's you know, bouncing off of quibbles. Well, thank you so much, Duck. I'm glad to be on. I just have to be careful not to be too energetic. That's my one thing. I have to be careful not to swing the arms around too much. And I almost didn't go live today because the energy was a bit flat. But it's great having people on, being able to have the conversation, and getting back to, and I've updated it. So, ta-da! You would be shocked at how long it took me to rewrite that. And there's a fucking spelling mistake. Christ. I had that down to the one letter. I had it down to the one character. I have to rewrite it again. Crikey! It's Portugal, not Portugal. Yeah, but that's because you have created them. Yes, yes, right. But that's because you have created them. You have brought them up to the brilliance they deserve to be, Senior Benny. Sure, if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't be wanted. Take it as a praise of your abilities more than anything else. Take it as an indictment on your incredible growth and coaching abilities. Yeah, squad registration. We don't care too much about this, but you will be in the main team. You will be in the main team. You will be in the main team. Who do we... Oh, shite. Okay, we're hitting this problem again. We are now at the point where we have too many players that are old. We'll go with that for now. What pisses me off is on Ekatike. That's not Ekakake. That's not how you pronounce that, but screw it. Didn't want to move for 6 seasons. PSG offered him 1.5 million. I declined, and now he's unhappy. My guy, you're worth 5 million. Yeah, but you are also stunting his career, so in a way you can understand why he'd be annoyed about it. Ekakia. Ekaikia. That's what I'll call him. Ekaikia. Duck, you can ask me anything. Just remember, you shall be judged maliciously upon it. But before you do so, just remember, anything you asked will be reminded on its perfect meaning. Like, we now know that it's Ekaikia. We now know, considering I searched it up there, that WSL actually ends up meaning Windows Subsystem for Linux. Okay, I didn't realize that before. It doesn't mean the Women's Sports League. Doesn't mean that at all. It means the Windows system for Linux. And of course, the number one thing to remember is wouldn't be me if it didn't come once. Anyways, stunting his career, he was a free agent. I signed, and now he's DR for Congo Staple. Yeah, but you know, bigger and better things, Benny. It's always the way, unfortunately. What is your win rate percentage at Real Madrid and your career as a whole? So, at Real Madrid, I think this is my career, not Real Madrid. So, or maybe this is Real Madrid. How do I check? No, this is Real Madrid. So, at Real Madrid, I have 233 games played, 186 games won, 20 drawn, 27 lost. 827 goals for, 255 against, 572 per goal difference, and a 79% win rate, which I think is good. I have a higher win rate than Julian Nagelsmann, and he's considered one of the best in the world. Now, for me, mine is overall. I've had 603 games played. I have a 66% career win rate. HSV and Crystal Palace hurt me a lot. But I mean, that's still not bad. That's still not bad, I think. Although, yeah, I forgot that I spent 142 million on Bernard Stellar. He has not been worth it, to be honest. But hey, he's still a linchpin. So the goal is, and this is quite a small goal, is to get this season done and have a win with everything within it, and hopefully get this done before FM 26 comes out. But we shall see. Anyways, is that the information that you wanted, Senior Ducker? Is there anything else you want me to check whilst we're in the parlance phase between our first and second game? Oh, Savinho might finally be leaving Crystal Palace since we got him. No comparison, of course, but at United I have an 84% win rate after 13 games. How long have you been with United? Is this starting from scratch with United, like the United that they are now? Because I am deeply of the opinion that United are, and to be fair, I've been saying this for a year, but I am deeply as a fan too, so I'm biased as fuck. But I am of the opinion United are not near as bad as the stats indicate that we are. Like I've thought for years that Mason Mount is a player if he can stay fit. Default. Oh, okay, yeah. Then yes. Ironically, I actually think they're better before this summer signings. Weirdly enough, Lindelof is a very good bench warmer, and that's one of the weird things about it. Christian Eriksen is a very good bench warmer. Lindelof is a very good bench warmer. And I can't remember who else we lost, but Brian Mbeumo and Cunha are odd in this game in that they have massive potential, but they tend to... How do I describe it? They're just off. They're not exactly what you'd expect. I don't know how to say it other than that. They're not as good as they probably should be. Also, look at this. Well, like, they're squibbling over pennies, but this is hilarious. But like, that's the thing too. FM, like, Rashford is ginked off his gi in this game. He is bonkersly over statsed in this game. Is he a coach in this? Like, Rashford is next level, especially if you make him a striker, and that's kind of the problem with Rashford. He's not a striker, but if you put him as a striker, he will wallop the goals into you. That's the other thing. Shaw is one of the best left backs in the game when you get him, and Anthony is one that you will replace, but he's a good. He's a good. Christ, what's the word I'm looking for? He's a good. He's a good squad player. He's good until you get someone else. Now, the big problem with that United squad, especially as it is the first thing you actually should do if you don't give an actual crap about reality, is the first thing you should do is you bring back Jadon Sancho when you actually play Jadon Sancho, because Jadon Sancho is also rocked off his gee bag in the beginning of this game. Sancho is surprisingly, well, not really. At the time he was still a good player, but he is a very, very good player in FM24. I am curious when FM26 comes out how they're affected. Now, I'm also probably is trying to get through balls. Then Rasmus Højlund must be busted. Rasmus Højlund is, like, in this game, it's the same as in EAFC. Rasmus Højlund is an interesting kettle of fish. In this game, he is one of the highest potentials that the game can end up coming with. Which, to be fair, when we signed him, he was meant to have a high potential in the whole lot. So it's not that surprising that Sports Interactive gave him a base potential that was rather high. But the more surprising thing to me is I done a boo-boo, Duck. I done a boo-boo. Okay? I done something that you're going to think less of me for. Okay? Give me 1 second. You're going to think less of me for this, but I done it, and I will live with the consequences of what I have done. I shan't apologize, but I think you know where this is going, Senior Duck. I think you know where this is going. Yes. You know what would have been the smart thing to do, Crack? Actually include the name of the game. That would have been the smart thing to do, Senior Crack. Yeah, this. You know, if I was an intelligent person, I would have done that to begin with. But intelligence is not thy name. But yes, I have done that. I have done the unthinkable. I have done the disgraceful. I have done that. And the really funny thing about that is, even though his stats are crap in that game because he's a 79 rated, Rasmus Højlund is a surprising addition to that game because he's so quick at what he does. His movement and his patterns are so quick and so well to go into that he actually makes himself be one of the better strikers because he can run in behind everything. And especially if you're playing on authentic mode where everything is a hell of a lot slower, it is bonkersly useful to have someone who goes like that. I mean, I agree with you. I'm not going to lie with you at all. In fact, EAFC 26 is not a good game. But with that being said, they're bonkersly fun to play. Like, even though they're bad, and they are bad, they are actually fun to play. But I don't think you, unless you're in clubs, and playing with people like that, which is one of the reasons why I like Enter, because he actually has a good community about that type of stuff. And to be fair to him, is building a good situation there. Please do look at Enter AI, look at his channel if you want to end up looking at that. But they are fun to play every now and again. But if you're not doing those type of multiplayer stuff and you need to avoid Ultimate Team's microtransaction heavy ability to it, it's nice to do it every now and again, but just don't get wrapped into that. It's very fun. I wouldn't buy it every year, but every 5 years they have enough change in the game where it's actually not that bad. Like, there's a good bit changed in FC 26 compared to FC 22, which is the one I had before that. And you, like, Benny, joking about it as much as has, watched me play it a couple of times in the Discord where I just went live last week and played it. And there was actually a bit of crack in it. Now, he didn't pay much attention because he was listening to my majestic voice. But he can lie and say that it didn't look at least entertaining. Okay, so what do we do with the drunken sailor? What additions do we do? I completely forgot about this little pillock. I don't usually have myself on mute. I will say today I had it on, and a couple of times I had left the room. So it wasn't today useful, because if you were in it, I wasn't there a couple of times, and I forgot that I was live, so I forgot to end up properly mute myself and the whole lot. But yeah, in general, whenever I'm on there, I'm in there. I just don't talk unless someone talks. If you ever see me live on Discord, please do feel free to come in and say hello. It doesn't happen all that often. Typically Wednesdays are one of the days when I'm in there playing something, and I might be doing it on Mondays. I have things on both days, so I won't be streaming those days due to those things. But yeah, no, that's that stack. I mean, to be fair, I am going against Shoal. Like, I am going against the Korean side. It's not exactly that likely that this won't be a shit game. I know you're joking, by the way, and you're on about your particular save, but yeah. I mean, Spurs aren't a bad team. And I would also note, just so you're aware, whatever it is about this game absolutely loves Ange Postecoglou. It adores that fool for some reason. I can't tell you why at all, but it adores Ange Postecoglou. Now, the interesting thing with Ange Postecoglou too is that I think if he can survive this initial hurdle, I genuinely think he will be able to make something out of that Nottingham Forest team. Now, going 6 losses on the bounce doesn't fill anyone with confidence. Even Ruben Amorim hasn't managed to do that, going 6 losses on the bounce. In fact, I think, weirdly enough, in the entirety of his time with United, Ruben Amorim has never lost 2 games in a row. It's always been loss, draw, loss, draw, loss. Then the odd occasional win in between it, which isn't a record to be proud of, but hey. But as Simon Jordan was saying, in Europe there where they played against Seville, and I know it doesn't mean much, but they did look good in that first half. So for 45 minutes there was something. You could see the sparks come into something. Now, is that enough? In my opinion, no. But you know someone that has been getting the absolute crap whipped out of him for years now, who genuinely might be showcasing himself to be not just a competent manager, but an actual proficient one. I'll give you two guesses, Duck, before I mention him. He's in the championship. There's your first clue. And then I'll give you two more clues if you need it, and then you'll definitely figure it out. Adam, my friend, what's a crack-a-lackin' with you? One of the greats, the former Traction, aka Adam. It's a pleasure to have you. How is the crack treating you? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going saucy? Give you a shout out there for the good old times. What's the crack with you, my friend? I really have to figure out the placements of this goddamn thing. Ooh, you've got some decent stories. You'll have to peruse us with a couple of your stories, Adam. Not too bad, thanks, buddy. Hope all is going well with you. I'm back after a bit of a break. Back in with Football Manager. Currently, currently losing this game, but we have time. We can fix these matters. We can hopefully end up getting a victory out of this travesty, but it should all be good. My second clue to you, Duck, is that a current Premier League side has hired him twice. And then the final clue, I'll basically tell you who it is. But yeah, no. Are you looking forward to 26 now, Adam? And what do you think your first save is going to be when 26 ends up coming out? Okay, so we were on about managers, and I was saying how Ange Postecoglou, although 7 on the bounce in losses, I think will actually get something out of that Nottingham Forest team. But then I was stating how I actually think there's a manager who is being slept on at the moment and has gotten his ass royally kicked a couple of times, who's genuinely looking like he's morphing into a decent manager, who I think will end up being recognized better than most will end up assuming in the next couple of years. He's a championship manager and he's doing a phenomenal job. The hints that I have given thus far are I can't even remember what the first hint I gave him was, but the second hint is he has managed a current Premier League side twice. It might be the cockroach manager. It depends on which cockroach you're on about. But if it's the cockroach I think you're thinking of, then yes. I suppose the 2.5 hint I'll end up giving you, Duck, is he's the worst of a particular set of tree. And that'll burn a couple of people. No, it's not Mulberry. That's a good guess, but it's not Mulberry. He's the worst of a particular set of tree. If we were to do the screw, marry, kill, he'd almost always be the kill. Lampard! Yes, Coventry City's Lampard. He's actually doing a surprisingly good job with Coventry City. He has them scoring goals out the wazoo, playing expansive, good football. They're not conceding that many goals, and it's looking like, I know it's early days of the championship, but it's looking like they're a shoe-in to end up getting first place in the championship. So he's probably going to end up having a promotion amongst his keys. So in general, he might actually be good. Yeah, no, he's not worse than Rooney. I don't actually think Rooney was that bad. I think Rooney screwed himself more than anything else. I think Ruby's time in Derby showed that Rooney could have been something. He just managed to shoot himself in the foot, going 4 times into horrible situations. Now, with that being said, the big problem, the big exclamation mark on Rooney that puts down his time being shite is DC United. But as Benny and probably Adam will end up telling us, DC is a cluster of its own creation, and it mightn't have been Rooney's fault that DC was that bad. There's the other one. So he had Derby, he had DC, he had Birmingham, he had Plymouth Argyle. There's your 4. So, like, I have time, more than most, for Wayne Rooney's manager career. I don't think Rooney is as bad as he's been hit upon. I think his time at Derby done a good showcase of his actual abilities. Now, with that being said, I can understand why you might want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and turn around and say that he's a bad manager. Now, with all that being said, too, it doesn't matter, because I think what he's currently at has made him have the potential to be one of the best pundits out there at the moment, because his punditry actually seems competent, which is interesting. But yeah, Frank Lampard with Coventry is doing a surprisingly good job, so we'll see what ends up happening there. Who knows? Might he get the third attempt at Chelsea when Enzo Maresca ultimately ends up failing? Now I know I really like this Chelsea side. I still think Robert Sanchez is a massive problem for them, and they badly need a striker. I don't really like João Pedro, but maybe the hype is fading off of that particular diamond. But they badly need a replacement for Robert Sanchez. I'm sorry, Robert Sanchez is not a good goalkeeper. Look, I know people like him, but Robert Sanchez just is not a good goalkeeper. I know that's pot calling the kettle black as a United fan, but like, I seriously think they need a new goalkeeper. Now, the other really interesting thing when it comes down to strikers, and maybe some of ye know more about it than me, I don't watch enough of it, but there's this TikTok channel who I believe is known as the Italian Quarter, I can't remember 100%, that were on about Juventus, and they were on about the fact that Jonathan David has been a walking wet fart for Juventus, with Dustin Vlahovic just almost refusing to play, and then the other striker they brought in to be crap. So I think Juventus are going to be going on the market for a striker fairly bloody soon. So I think Chelsea might be within the problem of they might have let the iron cool a wee bit too much, and we'll have another fight trying to get an actual striker. The other thing too is, and the Premier League has a nasty habit of killing the bird before it has landed. Arsenal might be too, if Gyökeres continues to quote-unquote underperform. I'm of the opinion Gyökeres hasn't underperformed, but at the same point in time, he hasn't exactly performed, so we'll see. Yeah, you've mentioned this one to me before, Benny, so it's interesting. Yeah, hiring your own consultant after spending quite a significant amount of money on him to become it is very, very funny. Pep is an interesting example for you to put there, because an awful lot of people to this day still think he's just a money manager, which he kind of is. But we'll see what ends up happening. I think the example that you'd probably put there is you put Mourinho or Sean Dyche in there, and they wouldn't be able to get anything out of them. It's probably the example you'd end up putting. No, I do, and you know I'm just being an ass, but you know I'm just being an ass. It's the same way as you continue to be an ass about the fact that that will never not be funny to me. That will never not be funny to me. Which, the MLS means mine's Lewis Skelly, or the manipulating at a detail just to make a point? Yes, yeah, that. Now, to be fair, mine wasn't actually, mine was just being a complete and utter arsehole. For the butt of a joke. That was me teeing you up for a Miles Lewis Skelly joke. And to be fair, you hit the fucker out of the park. So so, you know, it worked. Are you streaming yourself in the next wee bit, Adam? Or, if you are still here? Or, how's it all been going with you for the last wee bit? It's almost as bad as another type of person, but I can DM you that, gripe. No bother. Anytime. My door's always open. It's interesting in the streaming sphere, because I've had my first situation where I've had a gripe with someone. Had to deal with them and see them in other communities and feel incredibly awkward whenever I end up seeing them, because I don't really know the best action to end up taking. Whether or not it's wrong to talk considering they're in that community and I had a gripe with them, or whether or not it's just to leave it and, you know, be in ignorance, but that's an entirely different kettle of fish as well. I have the nasty problem of being a wee bit too nice sometimes. Clench the fist hard. I've personally got one last stream in me before 26, and life's been tiring to say the least. I understand that, Adam. But I suppose the only thing that needs to be reminded to you is that you are epic. You are epic, you are loved, you are gas bit of crack, and you're always welcome within the central of crack. As I am the best dealer of the crack this side of the Atlantic, and I will always send it your way. When the times are glim and all is sad, just remember you make the crack smile. Which, to be honest, should be a national crime, because my smile cracks a mirror. My smile churns milk. My smile managed to end up making a 9.1 earthquake on the Japanese Isles. I might be going a bit too far. But you're loved, my friend, and in all the difficult times, just remember, this too shall pass. All is good, and I look forward to the FM26 streams to see what the crack is like. Also, what a turnaround in this particular game, for 1-0 down to 6-1 up. Yeah, I'm trying to be better about that. Legitimately, I'm trying to be better about boundaries. It is one of those things that you need to consistently remind yourself that not to cross the socio-cultural boundary. But I just like talking to people and like having the conversations. And if time is needed, even though I don't have them here... Sorry, 1 second. Oh, that hurt. Shit, that hurt. I never want not to fulfill the bit. Dr. Crack is always ready for the call. That was not worth the bit, but fuck it! The bit needs to be done. Comic has never won if he doesn't do the bit. Oh god, I look so fat. Yeah, I have been mentioning. By the way, I want to point this out because none of you arseholes have actually called me up on this one. I was in. Oh crap! I can't even remember the stream I was in. I was in. Shite. I was in the live now. No, unfortunately they're not. Give me a second, see if I can find them. Yeah, I was in the Boy Plays stream the other day, and I mentioned, and I've been mentioning it here for a while, that the one thing I'm worried about in FM26, and I'll get to your rant in a second, Benny, when I read it. I mentioned that in FM26 that I'm worried because the rumor was that in FM25 they were removing international football and they were removing online. Now, I've mentioned this a couple of times on this particular stream that both of them were being removed and that I just wanted the confirmation that both of them were back or not being back or that the online was on. Now, what they pointed out to me was that the online rumor that was being removed was the draft mode of online and not the network save bit of online. So my dopey ass has been here thinking that the network save aspect would be gone and I wouldn't be able to continue to try and do a streamers league like we were doing before. And none of you assholes pointed out the fact that I was wrong. But hey, you know, we'll enjoy it all the same anyway when I whoop your candy asses in network saves. Anyway, let's read what Benny ended up saying there. Shit, that actually hurt. People can hold opinions. People can hold them with or without experience. It doesn't necessarily make what people are saying right or wrong, especially when questions or topics are subjective. Also, to piggyback off Crack, you're definitely appreciated, mate. You need anything, you reach out. Even if it's just to listen to someone. To get it off your chest. Of course, because the best thing to remember is we are all here for you. And when you say something that ends up pissing us off, we won't do anything bad. We won't end up being mean. All we will do is tell you to... Crack, WTF are you doing? I am. I'm not getting the jacket or the tie. You can fuck off. I am being Dr. Crack again. Appreciate it, mate. Same goes to you. Control Alt ranting coming for FM26. Yes, always never. You want to know why, Crack? I do want to know why. I love how you picked out the second message of the rant. Completely ignored. Where's the second message? Oh, okay. Oh shit, that hurt. Fuck. Screw you, Benny. You hurt my arm. I understand people coming from different backgrounds, but I also detest arrogance. An American that detests arrogance? What is this? Blasphemy. And sorry, that was slightly racist. I tend to be a bombastic type of person. Look at who you're talking to. So when I'm questioned because I may or may not have a level of experience in or around football, someone else, I get very cross. Yeah, but that's typical. Like, I'm a United fan. Like, you've heard me have plenty of arguments. Unless you want Michael Cole, vintage Crack. Yeah. I still think one of the best commentary crews that has been done in wrestling in by the way, Duck's about to turn off, that has been done in wrestling in quite a while is Michael Cole and why am I missing his name? ESPN Pat McAfee. I genuinely think the two of them have very good chemistry with each other. But my favorite commentator over the past 10 years was Mauro Ranallo, and it's so sad that fucker isn't back in wrestling. At least he's doing UFC. Like, if you're watching a UFC event and Mauro Ranallo's on, be happy, because genuinely his commentary is unbelievable. Well, anytime you end up coming here, you'll end up hearing vintage crack and the crack being sound. But you never ended up saying Adam. So what do you think your first save will end up being when you go on to FM26? And remind me again, considering it has been a while, who do you actually support in the world of football? Are you a plebeian like the rest of us and support someone from the Premiership? Or are you exclusive to... I believe you're American, right? I am right in saying you're American, or am I incorrect on that? Have I just pegged you the complete wrong side of the country? World, not country. Well, we were all at one part. We were all at one time part of the British Empire, so maybe that's correct. But okay, fair enough. You see, I don't see people by race, creed, or nature. I think everyone is an equal opportunity asshole. Hence why I'm an asshole to them. I'm not a Pat McAfee whatever fan, but him and Cole are very entertaining. It's because he brings out Cole's actual fun side. Now, to be fair, Wade Barrett does it as well. Wade Barrett and Cole are very, very good with each other. But Booker T and Wade Barrett are also very, very good. I like the commentary team WWE has at the moment. I need to find out what's causing that, but hey, that's a future cracks problem. Give us 1 second. Just need to check one or two things here. Cool. You want to know why, at least, I didn't say anything about you being wrong about the network save? Because let's be honest, so much bullshit has been said about FM26 and what is or isn't going to be in the game at this rate. I just turned out, well, to be fair, I am the asshole who turned around and said that I legitimately think Sports Interactive has been closed, so I can't really talk. Although I did say I'd happily eat my words when that was wrong, and I have turned around and said that I'd happily admit when I was wrong. But it did seem like it was going to be closed. Christ knows, my saves are like Christmas shoppings. Last minute, I support United and I support Manchester, and I'm from Manchester, support United, but sure, fair enough. So you're a sad soul like me. What do you think our chances are against Liverpool, Adam? If you don't mind me asking. Also, Ben Riley, my friend, what is a crack-a-lacking with you? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going spicy? Another streamer there, and since I'm handing these out like hotcakes, I might as well do it now. Did I give Adam one? Hold on, did I give Adam a shout-out? Fuck it, we'll give you yours in a minute, Ben, because I'm not sure if I gave Adam a shout-out. So we'll give Adam first. Oh, I did, but fuck it, anyway, it's grand. I'll give you yours in a minute, Ben. How's life treating you, my friend? Does American citizenship require you to denounce the citizenship of where you've come from before? Is it like Spain in that regards, or is it completely different? I mean, to be closer to you, Benny, why wouldn't he? I'm not too bad, Ben. Just recovering and enjoying the crack. Happy to be streaming again and coming down here. Happy with the result against Sunderland. I would have preferred a good second half. But, you know, you do what you have, and 45 minutes is great to be going wrong. By the way, I will accept the apology that Mount is actually a good player now. I think you were one of the people that I had that argument with last year. I'm only pulling the piss. But, what have you been up to yourself, Ben? Have you been streaming at all? Have you been playing anything? How's the crack been going? Chances of the bus breaking down all the way to the ground. I'm always stupidly confident I take a 1-1. You know, funnily enough, I actually think they're takeable. I actually think they're takeable. They have too many injuries in key positions. The only player performing at all to the level that he needs to be playing with is Dominic Szoboszlai. And depending on what ends up happening, Dominic Szoboszlai mightn't be in the midfield. He might be at right back. If Dominic Szoboszlai is at right back, I think we have a significantly better chance of beating them than if he's not. However, if Dominic Szoboszlai isn't at right back and he's in the midfield, so long as Dominic Szoboszlai is in the midfield, it means that the left-hand side will be Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo has been better than Salah on the right-hand side there, but he hasn't been efficient enough in order to do anything. And I don't know what the fuck is happening to Isak. But if they start with Isak, I think we can kill the game. And we only need one goal. If we score first, I think we win. Simple as, if we score first, I think we win. If they score first, I think we lose. I don't think the game is coming with a draw. I think whoever scores first wins that game. Genuinely. I think whoever scores first wins that game. I think if they start with Isak, I think we have a better chance of winning than if they start with Nteke. Because Hugo has been playing significantly better than Isak. Now, be that Isak not having going on strike and not getting match sharpness yet, maybe that's the case. But I'm actually surprisingly confident within it. Now, how do I feel about the way United are playing? That's an entirely different kettle of fish. I liked the way Le Mans was going. I liked that the defence seemed to be somewhat confident in him. The one thing I didn't like is that when Harry Maguire went on, Harry Maguire went to the centre. He has to stop doing that. He has to cement De Ligt in the centre of the park unless you're substituting him. De Ligt should not move from the centre of that defence. I'm sorry, he shouldn't. I know he's not the fastest person there, but Euro isn't big enough yet, and Adrian Heaven isn't ready. So De Ligt should be stuck in the centre of that, and unless De Ligt is coming out, Harry Maguire should be right or left. And Terry Shaw shouldn't play, but we don't really have an option to replace him yet either. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But all four of the defenders seem to be confident in Le Mans. That's what you need. Confidence from the defenders is a maximum point there. And we just need Mbeumo to actually fucking start crossing the ball. So we'll see. I like Sesko, but I don't think we're playing the Sesko strengths. Myself. Correct me if you think that I'm wrong. I'm happy to have a discussion about it. And happy to tell you that you're wrong. Excuse me. But yeah, let me know what you think. It's an optional future fee, no. Who are you? I don't mind that deal. But no expiry. No way they accept that, by the way. But yeah, that's me. I do find it interesting, by the way, that that's the actual spelling of Batista. As a Dave Batista fan, I always find it funny seeing the Batista with the U in it, and knowing that that's the actual way it's spelt. It'll never not look weird to me with the U in it. And it's hilarious that he refused to change his name in the WWE. So Vince literally just removed the U from his name in order to trademark Batista, which is a fantastic way to play around that, since nobody knows the name Batista and wouldn't actually notice at all that the U is gone out of it. 20. Is he free agent or? Oh no, he's with 20 now. Okay, fair enough. try and sell you. Oh no, he's gone. Okay, whatever. I don't know what happened there. Also, it's nice to see that the more things change, the more they stay the same. I'm doing preseason at the moment in the stream, going on 1 hour 40 minutes, and I've only done 2 games. More things change, the more they stay the same. I think Sesko is better than Gyökeres so far. It's hard to say, Ben. It's hard to say. I think, like us, Arsenal aren't playing to Gyökeres's talents. I think it's a legit problem in football at the moment, where I think this is my personal opinion, and again, argue with me if you think I'm wrong. I think in the world of football, the striker is the single most important person on the pitch. Other than the goalkeeper, the striker is the single most important person on the pitch, and you must play for the striker. Okay? I am of the opinion that is how you have to play football. You have to play for the striker. I think it has gotten to the point in football that people are building the team and slotting strikers in. I don't think that works. I don't think that, and just in general in football, I don't think that works. I don't think, in general, you can just slot a striker in. There are strikers that works with. Robert Lewandowski, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Those were strikers who could adapt and morph into any position. Rasmus Højlund is a true and true striker. Now, to be fair, that was Ten Hag's system. Ten Hag needed a true and true striker, so Rasmus Højlund was that. Sesko is a height man and a direct shot in. You cross to Sesko, so he's an Alex Ferguson striker, ironically enough. I don't think we're playing to the strengths of Sesko, and I don't think Arsenal are playing to the strengths of Gyökeres, but I think the problem is they're building a team where the striker slots in and not a team for the striker. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is of your own opinion. I actually think that's what's happening to Isak as well, where Liverpool have purchased both Nteke and Isak to slot into the position and give options where they come down to. Now, the two of them are two entirely different strikers, and Nteke suits Liverpool significantly more than Isak. And I think that's the problem. I think at the end of the year, as things stand, all three of Isak, Sesko, and Gyökeres will be deemed flops. If I'm honest. And that's as a United fan. Now, with that being said, I think Amram changed his way of play quite significantly against Sunderland. And nobody has said much about it, funnily enough. They make such a big deal about the system and the whole lot that it's really, really funny, because they didn't mention anything about the fact that he changed the entire structure of how he played against Sunderland. We had significantly more long balls than we normally end up doing from the men's, which might be a bad thing. Like, that's the way Alex Ferguson used to play. I don't want to put the comparison, but it is the way that we used to. We had significantly more long balls. That's a problem in general, because that play style, long balls don't suit Cunha and don't suit Mbeumo, but that's an entirely different conversation. But those long balls led to more situations where Sesko could be used in the air. It also led to more situations where Sesko could be the true man, which means I think that play style works more if we're bringing Rasmus back, which I actually think we might be. I think we'll ignore that buy option, because no matter if there is a permanent buy option in it, the selling club can always ignore it. So we'll see what ends up happening there. I think they're going to sell Xerxes. I think they're going to try and sell Xerxes in the summer and bring Rasmus back, but we'll see what, or not in the summer, in January, but we'll see what ends up happening there. I also am a massive fan of Rasmus, so So maybe I'm being too harsh to the 3 players, but I am of the opinion at the moment that that's what's going to end up happening. Tell me what you think. Do you think I'm wrong? I think the most difficult position on any football pitch is the goalkeeper, because I think a team lives and dies by the goalkeeper. If you, it's the reason why you don't get second chances as a goalkeeper. If you fail as a goalkeeper, your ass is gone. Simple as. You don't get second chances. If you lose the faith of your defense, you're fucked. Simply, you're just screwed. You're done. You're fanata. You're finished. You don't get a second chance once you lose the faith. Unfortunately, as a goalkeeper. So I think it is the most difficult position on the pitch as well. Why? I said yes. Okay, whatever. But yeah. I completely lost my train of thought. Now I need to end up starting with diarrhea, the constipation of the brain again. Which is interesting, because I'm getting to build a team, so I can do that anyways. When did Justin get injured? That's concerning. Shiza. We'll put you... Is that even the position you play? Not really, but fuck it, we'll put you there anyway. Put Fran there. Mulka got to start the game the last time, so we'll put Alberto there now. We've got Guller as our lead force there. Do we have anyone to replace Oscar with you, but you're not fit? Because why the hell would you be? You were meant to have good potential, but you didn't, which is sad. Shit. Yeah, you don't play there. We need to train you into a new position, boy. I mean, I'm not going to be here long enough for it to matter, but still. You, unfortunately, are injured. You're there. Just put Foston in for now. Who can we replace Brim with? Pedro can play back here as well, can he? Kinda. Screw it. We'll throw the baby out with the bathwater and try it. We've Sechi there. Judah there. Burke isn't back yet. Joaquin was fine, but not good enough. We're interestingly lacking in properly good youth in defense. So we might go looking. I say we. I, off stream, might go looking at the defensive market and look for a couple of young talent to bring in. But against Puyang in our last game in Korea, where I don't know where the choice to tell you where the training camp was, because I didn't see it. I wouldn't have picked Korea. But it doesn't really matter now. We'll continue on anyways. And see how we do in this game. Hopefully, a better first half with an inexperienced, youthful team in order to see how things are. Also, when it comes down to FM26, I'm going to be interested to see how this ends up working, because it's interesting to have a situation of two almost identical regens. And one of the really funny things I ended up seeing was someone who posted on TikTok an image of all of the regens throughout all of the years, all the way back to the original 06 game, which was Sports Manager, I think, 06, where the regens every single year seem to have gotten progressively worse every single year that they were in it, which I think is absolutely hilarious, if I'm honest. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's not bad by Pedro, considering it's not his normal position. That is bad from Montalban, though. Pedro getting the goal is beautiful. I like when players start working well, and that position sometimes leads to good goals. Typically not this type of goal, but still, a goal is a goal is a goal. And you love to see it. Much of these players here won't be used that much, but it's still nice to see them get the chance, you know? I would love to go longer, actually, but I think I'm probably going to finish up after this game. My arm's starting to get a bit sore. So, yeah, a couple of my gags have managed to bite me in the ass a bit. Ooh. That's something I wonder too. Will there actually be dynamic advertisements done in FM26? Because I could see that being a thing. I could see them adding dynamic advertisements in the game, especially with it officially having Premier League sponsorship as well as just having the Premier League in it. I will say the reaction to people seeing EAFC on the first trailer for FM26 was pretty bloody hilarious. People blowing their gasket over the fact that the two games have seen interaction with each other. I will find it funny if the reverse becomes true, because there's a significant chance it could, considering FM is technically now a sponsor of the Premier League. The roles could also be reversed, and throughout the updates of EAFC, in one of the patches, FM might be seen on the teleprompters once it's released. And considering the two games are in direct competition with each other to cannibalize each other, it'll be interesting to see. Now, I will say one of the things with the FM that I find interesting is the amount they're trying to sell, how much improvements have been done to this, the in-game aspect of it. I personally love the jank of FM24. I love how janky it is. I love how rudimentary it is. I don't particularly care about them doing, flashy skill moves or doing Robertos or enchiladas or nutmegs or that type of stuff, doing twist backs and curls. I don't particularly care about that, but I'm also one person in an ocean of madness. So I'm sure there are those that matters an insane amount too. So it'll matter probably a lot more to them. But I'm also an incredible skeptic. And I'm of the opinion that the actual new match engine, from the little snippets that we've seen, doesn't actually look like that much of an improvement. But hey, we'll see. I will say that there was a supposed leak of the main menu for FM26. And I ain't a fan of that. If the leak is legit, it looks like something done by a second-year games development student. But hey, time will tell. I mean, we don't have long left to see it. Do you play on other positions? No, you're in 17. You're 20. Okay. I think we need to put Alvaro out on loan. And we'll put Guehe there. Brim just came on for the injury, so we keep him. Put Ugarte on. We have Sechi there, so Ronald will replace with Sechi, and Yusuf we might bring on later on, but for now we'll leave him, and then bring on Greek instead. I cannot pronounce that name for crap, and he's from Greece, so that's why I call him Greek. Anyone who has any cultural proficiency within a shadow of their bone wants to tell me how to pronounce this goddamn name, fair play to you and let me know, but I ain't going to try it. How did Gata get injured? What the hell are you at, Fran? Calm down. The ball can remain on the pitch. Did I not take Aaron Guller or Fran off the pitch? Weird. How did I make that mistake? I mean, it's lucky for Guller he's after getting a goal out of it, but still. Or did he? Yeah, he got a goal out of it. Also, we'll replace Ugarte now because we don't want him injured. So, Jude for Ugarte. In theory, that should piss him off, considering he's been subbed for a sub, but still. Once I'm back to full fitness too, I'll try and instigate an actual stream schedule and post it on social media and all that crap. Try and get more people in. You know, boost up the numbers so we're not just stuck on 252. Try and get the followers up. Match some of my compatriots. Seeing your enter up there at 770. And to be fair, deserves every moment of it. Fantastic stream himself. Berekage at north of 2,000, I believe. You know, and that's just for his sensual voice. Yeah, over 2,000. That's just for his sensual voice. Dashing good looks in his sensual voice. One game I actually would love to end up playing again. I haven't been playing it for the last wee while since the work has been done. Is Path of Exile 2. I actually was really enjoying my gameplay of that. There's too much need of the left hand. Like it's just simple tappings of the WASD or the Q, W, E, R, and T notions, but it is just too much use of that left hand. You want to, as much as possible, not use it, or I do anyway, for the next wee bit, until it becomes slightly stronger. Also, if any of any recommendations on playlist additions, I really like this playlist. I love having it on for FM. But there is only a certain segment of it. I'm too lazy to actually extract that out into its own playlist, so it automatically reverts back to what's there. But at the same point in time, if anyone has any recommendations, please do let me know about that as well. QC Hyung. If you are actually a fan of the Korea, which is just completely ironic, this is Benekage on Twitch there. His FM save, which is the longest save that has been stuck for almost 7 seasons in Korea, is doing a current Korean save with Wong Po, I believe, is how you pronounce it. I could be completely wrong about that, but genuinely worth a watch. A good bit of crack. But with that being said, I have one more friendly to do. I'll probably do that off stream and then fast forward myself to the first division match against Atletico Madrid. Gimpo, that is correct. It is Gimpo. And fast forward to that game there. It's the first time that I'll do this, but I don't think anyone actually wants to watch that game against Ajax. Unless Amanda was here. But there's a couple of transfer things that'll end up looking to, a couple of players to get sold, bits and bobs like that. But I'll do that, and the next time we come live, we'll start with the Atletico Madrid game, a big game that we end up going with. Should be a bit of crack. I'm not going to promise that tomorrow... What day is tomorrow? Yeah. So typically my Wednesdays were off because of the boxing, but because of the arm, I don't have boxing. So I'm not going to promise that I'll be on again tomorrow, but it'll depend on how I feel after working the whole lot, and I have a couple of things I need to do in town that could end up taking away my time. But if it suits, I'll be unusual in the schedule and go live tomorrow. If not, I'll be live again on Thursday. More than likely, it'll be FM due to the simplicity of it and not needing to do too much with the hand. But it has been a bit of crack. For everyone on every other channel, thank you so much for coming in. TikTok, YouTube, Kick. It has been an absolute pleasure. I am looking for the raid for Twitch. So for all of you, Twitch, you're going to get 2 goodbyes. But for all the rest of you, thank you so much. The crack has been 90. Make sure your crack is 90. Remember that I am the stupid sexy crack. Long full, and as always, plug my home, my friends. Have a great evening.